Welcome to Off Script, where we step outside the usual narratives and have real, raw, and respectful conversations. Whether you're in uniform or never worn a badge in your life, this podcast is for you. Our mission is simple: to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community. We're using our training, experience, and perspective to bring you content that's relevant, honest, and helpful. Whether you're a cop, a civilian, or just someone trying to make sense of the world we live in. Let's jump right into why we're doing this. Tony, why are we doing this podcast? What does it bring to you?
For me, it's entertainment, really. Don't have really much else to do, but this gives me a way to give back to the community, and I get to hang out with my friends, and just have a good time. So,
yeah. What about you, Matt? Why are you doing this?
I like doing this because I get questions from all of you listeners all of the time, family, friends, of what would you do in this situation? What if this were to happen? What if this were to happen? What do you think about this law? That's why I'm doing this, to help give you guys some information that maybe you can just listen to and take on and not ask me so many questions over Thanksgiving and Christmas, and learn from it this way. And hopefully I answer all your questions. And if I don't, send them in, and guess what? You'll be on a podcast and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So, Mystal, why are you doing this?
I guess I'll give a little bit more of an intimate answer. I like hanging out with you guys. Y'all are my best friends in real life. We're not just, saying that. But more so, I'm just going to be real. Like, I feel responsible for both of you. And Tony medically retiring and still having so much to offer. Like, I mean, I know there's been some ups and downs, and he's going to talk about it on the show, but for more than anything, is just like I found myself like trying to find ways to like help him, and some of them are good, some of them were pretty stupid. Like back whenever we thought landscaping was going to be the path. But finally, it was just for me, it's like taking ownership for more than just myself, and I know therapists and whoever can say like you're not responsible for other people, but y'all are my family, and I am. And I enjoy talking about these topics anyway. I actually am really passionate about being a lifelong learner, and I hope our listeners are too. I try to find people I can learn from and emulate some of the techniques they use to be successful. And so I'm hoping that maybe us honing our craft and sharing it with people, maybe it'll make their life a little bit better, or they'll learn something they otherwise might not have ever heard. And in the meantime, I get to be a part of Tony continuing to get to share his experience and his skill and craft with whoever listens. So I'm here for it. That's
a really good answer.
Well, let's address that a little bit. You know, you're not responsible for that at all.
I know.
I think I was trained. I did everything that I possibly could have done. And, it happens.
It does.
So
life happens.
It
things
does.
Change it.
And actually, I'm actually going to use our story in our leadership podcast. Our leadership episode to come. So I'm not going to get into it here because I was going to follow up with my answer in the leadership podcast that will, I think, launch next. But yeah, so back to why we're even doing this episode. I actually had a listener actually came by the house, and he was like, hey, so I really like your podcast, but is it for law enforcement or is it for like civilians? Because my girlfriend really likes it, and she's not a cop, and she thought that situational awareness episode was awesome. And I realized, we made an episode about why we're qualified to talk about things, but we didn't actually talk about like what we're going to talk about. And so I was like, so let's do a reset episode and kind of explain what we're doing, why we're doing it, and let the listeners know like the focus and where we're going with it. So, Matt, you want to hit us with the...
Yeah, so we got an exciting kind of schedule, I guess, to put it for you guys, of what you can expect next and how our our episodes are going to go from now on. We're going to have a rotating schedule that's going to focus on listener story debriefs, leadership development, everyday safety and best practices, and law enforcement inspired topics. So what are listener stories?
Yeah, so after that accidental really episode about my mom and my kid almost getting kidnapped or, getting carjacked or whatever, people like really loved it and wanted to ask a lot of questions, and they had their own stories they wanted to tell. So we're like, why not? Like, send your stuff in. Let's debrief it. Let's talk about it. Like, things you did well, things you could improve, and stuff we can all learn from, or someone who might have been in a similar situation. They listen to your story and they're like, wow, yeah, that would have been relevant to me. So that's where we're going with the listener story debriefs. I think it's fun. I debrief with my guys on everything I can. It's so important. And just getting the affirmation of the things you did well really makes a difference too. So
Yeah, it's super motivating. Also, while we're on the topic of sending in stories, let's consolidate. Send all your stories to offscriptfanmail
yes.
at gmail.com. That way, it's, three different DMs, three different email addresses. Let's send it all to one and compile it to offscriptfanmail at gmail.com.
And
Yeah.
that should be in the show notes too.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes. And if you guys have any stories that you might want to hear from us, I mean, we talk about our stories all the time to the point where we get tired of hearing them. But you guys have probably never heard them. So if you want to hear those types of stories, what kind you want, or if you have stories for us, again, send them in so we can talk about it, debrief it, and go from there. So after listener story debriefs, we're going to go into leadership development. So what is leadership development going to consist of, Tony?
I think it'll start from, self-improvement and self-awareness all the way through running successful teams. That's going to be kind of a building mini-sode, if you would, or a series. So it'll be ever evolving all the way up from just starting out to going full speed with your team.
Yeah, so we have about one episode a month that's going to release for the next year at this point that we're going to build off of each step to continue our process of your learning. And this isn't just for cops. This is for civilians. How to build better teams, be a better leader, and develop your skills or learn new skills of how to be a leader.
Yeah, the way it's designed it's for everyone. Those are my favorite leadership podcasts to listen to.
Yeah.
Over the years, I've had several that I have really enjoyed and taken a lot from. So we definitely wanted to make sure it's applicable for anyone, anywhere, in whatever leadership role you're in, whether that's work, corporate, law enforcement, or leading your home. Like, that's the most important place. So,
Or even if you're not in a leadership position
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
We can show you how to get there.
All right, after leadership development, we're going to come out with everyday safety and best practices. What does that mean?
Yeah, so just tips for keeping yourself and your family safe, whether that's, not impeding the left lane or, best practices for getting your car ready for a road trip, or, driving tips, or whatever it may be. My physical therapist, actually, like, every time I go see him, he gives me stuff that we should talk about, because he'll just be out and about.
Right
He's like, what about, like, just even things more than driver's ed, like inclement weather or whatever. And I think that's extremely valuable. Like, I get to give those speeches to people after they've crashed in inclement weather, but how about we start giving it to them before, So,
I agree. Yep, so it's basically going to be practical tips and things that you should know and do to keep you better aware in your everyday life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Common knowledge that's not so common.
Exactly.
Yep. So after that, we're going to go into law enforcement inspired topics. You guys want to touch on that?
Bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good topic. A lot of law enforcement don't even realize that they need training. Some of them aren't willing to admit it, and some people just really don't know any better. So if we can touch on stuff like this, maybe pass along some knowledge, indirectly,
Yeah.
I think we can all
Yeah. I mean,
be better for it.
my main focus is just like common stuff that we can get into without, talking about tactics or, anything like that, I'll be upfront, like, definitely will never compromise tactics. So what we can
Right.
get into where it's not strictly like a law enforcement class. Yeah.
Basically,
Case law. We can talk about
Yeah.
case law
Case
and
law.
how it applies. Case law is important for everybody to know.
and the challenges and the realities of it,
Yeah.
of what we go through, what maybe you guys don't understand of some of the things that happen and why they happen.
Right. And just setting up a basic operating system. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that is a foundation of everyday life, but should be the foundation of law enforcement. Your basic operating system is what you fall back on under extreme stress. And so for me, and these guys know this, I could go on and on about your basic operating system, but Tony got me early in his career, and that was something that I really hammered him on, and still would today.
Yeah.
It's something that, if you're not doing that or you don't know what it is, tune in and we'll teach you how to develop your basic operating system. You have one, you just don't know it because it wasn't intentional. It's how you react under stress. So
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say I'll teach both sides of it.
yeah,
I'll teach what cops can do and what they can't do, and what you as a civilian should expect from your police officers.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
keep it fair. Play
Yep.
both sides.
So if you're here to learn, grow, laugh, challenge your perspectives, tune in. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're on Spotify. We really need you guys' help to boost that platform so we can spread the word to everybody. So if you haven't, do that.
Yeah, because we're doing this in our free time. So help us make it a little worthwhile.
We can only reach out to so many people.
Yeah.
We really need you guys to help with that. So
Offscriptfanmail@gmail.com.